Hey fellow movers and shakers, I'm Pat Rainville. I am the owner of Empowering by Design and the administrator of the empoweringbydesign.com online interactive community website. I provide life, health, and heart-centered spiritual coaching services that are facilitated by angel therapy and a very cutting-edge system of personality assessment called human design. I help people to connect the pieces to empowerment, which are clarity, communication, and connection. In my experiences of life, I've found that the times where I felt the most freedom, where I gained the most confidence and empowerment and was really able to move forward, it somehow in some way involved those three components: clarity, communication, and connection. It became like a design of empowerment that are truly like interlocking pieces of a puzzle, that when you put them together, they create a bigger, broader, more beautiful picture of where things are going. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let me share with you a couple of stories. Mary was a woman in her 50s, and I met her when she came to one of my meditation classes. She was going through a divorce. And if you've ever been through a divorce or you know someone who has, you know that it can be a really turbulent time in their life. Needless to say, she was really depressed, and she had a lot of fear and uncertainty about what her future was going to be like. She started to confide in me about some of her fears and her worries and how that was leading to her getting depressed. I encouraged her to start noticing when she was getting really worried and heading into that downward spiral of fear that was starting to make her depressed, and to stop and to ask herself a couple of clarifying questions that would help to shift her focus. If this is what I don't want to happen, then what would I like to see happen? What would I ideally like things? How would I ideally like things to turn out? Where do I want to live? What kind of work do I want to be doing? What do I want the outcome of this divorce to be like? Amicable and fair for both of us? I also encouraged her to start journaling as a way of communicating with herself, to give her an outlet for her feelings. And I introduced her to the idea of communicating with her angels and to ask for their help and their intervention in this process of her life that she was going through. Well, a few months went by before I saw Mary again. She came to another meditation class that I was giving. But this time, she was noticeably happier. And she was excited to see me. She came up and she was all excited. She said, "Patty, I took your advice." And she said, "I'm so excited because I just found this great new house that I'm going to move into. I'm going to be able to share it with someone, so it's going to offset some of the costs for me." And she said, "You know, it's exactly like what I described in my journaling." She said, "It's unbelievable. I asked the angels for help like you suggested, and I really felt like I got the connections that I needed to get it." And I just kind of laughed and I said, "See, it really helps to shift your focus." But she used that design of empowerment. She got clear about what she wanted. She communicated with herself, with the angels, and she was able to connect with someone, with something, a situation that was going to be really great for her. She also ended up connecting with a spiritualist church, and she started on a program with them to become a healer in their community. So by combining all those things, she put the pieces together that created a bigger picture that had a more positive and hopeful outlook for herself. Now, Lori is someone who was the owner of a $10 million human resources business. And like a lot of people who are in business, she ran into the trap of, while trying to run the business was running her. She was exhausted. She was getting very overwhelmed by the business. And it was really starting to bother her because she was the mother of 2 young children. And she wasn't able to be, it was preventing her from being the kind of mom that she wanted to be for them. Over the course of several coaching sessions, I introduced Lori to her human design. It helped her to get a much clearer understanding of how to best use her personal energy. We also worked on helping her to clarify what her values and her goals were. Eventually, Lori came to terms with the fact that she needed to sell most of her business. But she also ended up connecting with a business coach who helped her to develop a sales process that was more ideally suited to her strategy in human design. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what that is in a moment. She ultimately ended up on a new venture that makes the most of her strengths, and she's able to fulfill her desire of having a more balanced life and being able to enjoy the time with her children. Now, human design is a personality assessment system. In human design, there are 5 types, and each type has its own unique strategy. And it's kind of like having the driver's manual for the make and model of the car that you drive. When you follow the manual, you follow the strategy, your car works at optimum level, making your travel down the road much more smooth. You know, we all need a little help now and then on our life's journey. Using that process, that design of empowerment, getting more clear about where you want to go, having a communication with yourself, your spirit, the angels, or maybe with another person, connecting to a resource, a coach, a book, those 3 things together can help you move forward on your journey in life. If you'd like to find out more about your human design, then go to empoweringbydesign.com. You can fill out the form to get your free human design chart and get started on your journey of transforming the way you look at yourself.